I've been thinking, what if legit the biggest lie we've been told or sold about love is that it lasts forever?
The people crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do, and I guess that makes us maniacs over here. This is a podcast where we deep dive into the normal and hold conversations on experiences we wouldn't normally have on tape.
Whoa, so it's actually raining and I might need... The one thing I am is excited though. So I've been thinking, and hear me out. What if what if the biggest lie we've been sold about love is that it lasts forever?
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Hi guys, welcome back to On Tape. I feel like I'm not being loud enough, especially with that thunder going, but Happy New Year. Welcome back. It's 2026. I have not shot a podcast episode in about 3 months. I know, but I've been putting up some vlogs. I don't know if that's your jam, if you are checking them out, but for my intellectual girlies, I promise I am back. I'm working on like a lot of things in the background. Please trust me. But if you're new here, my name is Musinare. I'm a content creator based here in Uganda, and I share about my lived experiences and what that looks like exploring my 20s as a woman in an African society. I also explore conversations that people wouldn't normally explore on tape, hence the name On Tape, the podcast. But if you're new here, feel free to look around, suss out the vibe, and just check out a couple of stuff that I've worked on. But if you are an OG and you've been here from the start, girl, you better get your drink. I don't want to call it like a case study episode because it's not like a deep dive like I would have wanted, but Valentine's Day is coming.
I'm with my wife and children. Call your boyfriend. Valentine is coming. Where is your boyfriend? You are sitting at home. You are so lonely. Where is your boyfriend? Your legs are getting flowers. You are so lonely.
I love the way those guys have like a new what do they call it, verse every year, and it's just like, guys, let us relax, okay? Anyway, as Valentine's Day probably has come by the time you're watching this, I've been just thinking about love and how it's been framed or sold, measured to us and everything, and I just keep going back to the uncomfortable idea of like, what if everyone is not meant for love, okay? And maybe it's not tragic, maybe it's just honest. So our part one is, I want us to sort of like set the context, right? If we're going to talk about Valentine's Day, we have to go back like to the beginning, and like, I don't mean in terms of like Instagram, but like history. So where did Valentine's Day come from? Because as lovely as Valentine's Day looks today, the red roses, branded chocolates and gifts and flowers and everything, it actually really has messy roots, because it's rooted back to Saint Valentine or Valentine, depending on where you come from. And this is a priest who this is a priest who was executed for secretly marrying people off in a time when the emperor had banned marriages, because he believed that single men made better soldiers. So this guy gets imprisoned and executed around 270 AD, and the Pope declares the 14th of Feb Saint Valentine's, a feast day. If you're Catholic, you're familiar. And at around that time, really they're trying to shift love from like pagan rituals to like a more Christian love, call it what you will. But in the 18th and 19th century, that's when love starts to really become like commercialized. I mean, sending and receiving of like the cards, because at that point there's like an affordable like postage or mail system, chocolates getting branded. Like, this is when love really starts to become a business. If you're smart, you're selling flowers this Valentine's. 2025. Okay, so today love is not about intimacy anymore. I mean, it's a performance. Like, we're on the gram. It's like, who did enough? What did who do for who? So love did not disappear. No, it was just packaged. Okay, clock it. But that's 2025. But if we go back and come back home, by home I mean here to Africa, before colonialism, marriage was not about finding the one. Like, it was about stabilizing clans. It was about community continuity. I mean, it was about joining families. It was about ensuring survival. And girl, that was key. And I mean, not to say that love was non-existent. Love could grow, okay? It could grow, but it was not the entry point, okay? So that means in Africa, love or marriage was not about performance. Instead, it was about kinship, it was about land, it was about labor, responsibility, basically. Excuse me. So we also see that in Africa, love was also communal. Like, marriage was not a personal brand like it is today. Love was not a personal brand. It was negotiated over by families. Like, families were actually involved in like day-to-day matters and things like that. The elders were heavily involved. Back then, marriage was actually accountable to community. Today, it's accountable to the internet. Okay? Yes, and of course there was also bride wealth or bride price, which really acknowledged the woman's value in society. It was a sign of respect, to the parents of the girl that was getting married. It was also a sign that the man would be able to look after their daughter, and it created a mutual obligation between both families. So when colonialism and Christianity came into the picture, marriage changed, okay? The idea that love or marriage ended in forever, that didn't just come out of nowhere, okay? We're seeing that religion actually played a really, really big role, because marriage was considered moral, morally upright, God ordained, respectful, a marker of adulthood, okay? And on the other hand, singleness, especially at a long term, was considered a waiting room. It was considered a test, or even worse, failure. So for women, now the pressure became even higher because guess what? Marriage was a sign of virtue, of being chosen, okay? Enters the pick me girl era. Pick Misha, where are you? But yeah. So yes, colonial marriage systems definitely reshaped how marriage and love were looked at in African society. So basically, what colonial marriage introduced was, the legalities. So legal marriage, patriarchal inheritance structures, and the big one, monogamy as a law, okay? Monogamy for these men, these creatures. So in short, marriage became a tool, okay? A tool for control of land, labor, women's bodies. So love was not the priority. But guess what was? Order. Let's go to the next chapter. Economic survival. Let's be honest, okay? For a very long time, marriage was not about love. It was about survival. Like, we were out here in the wild. Women needed men for financial security, physical protection, or you can call it social protection and legitimacy. Yes. And like, if you're locked into the current season of Bridgerton, season 4, which we're waiting on part 2 like nothing, but we actually see Sophie Peck like live this in like real time. I think her father had her with a maid, and back then rank and society are like a big deal, and that's why a lot of maids can only be like mistresses. So yes, so being a wife was actually like, like in social status, it's like a big deal. So ending up with someone was not optional, like it was necessary. So that's why today, when we think about ending up alone, a lot of us are just reacting to centuries and centuries of conditioning. But the next part, partnering in 2025, what has changed? So much, my good sister. So in 2025, we're seeing that the conditions that made marriage necessary for women have completely shifted. This is after the feminist rights movement. Women have the power to vote, they can work, they have jobs. In Uganda, we have something like the affirmation policy, where women are actually given extra points at entry level, university entry level, just for being a girl. So we are living the world that our grandmothers walked so that we could run, and things have completely shifted. Women are educated, we are earning, we're owning property, and we're basically supporting ourselves, which is what men's role in society used to be. And what that does is that marriage is actually no longer necessary, but now what it is a choice. The men don't like that, do they? And guess why? Guess why they don't like that? Because when something becomes optional, my lord, the standards become high. So the questions that women are asking have changed. It's no longer just, do I love him? It's, does this partnership actually improve my life? Does this marriage actually add to my life? And I think there's definitely a shift, because when I engage with women who are, so I think when I'm speaking to women that are much older and I'm looking at their views, I see that they actually genuinely believe that marriage was something that could be for them. And a lot of them are actually living the reality that marriage has not served them in the way that it was supposed to. But I also see how, like, I don't want to say surprised or like thrown back they are when they hear like some of my thoughts, because now for me I'm in an era where I'm in a space where if as an older woman, auntie age, you come to me and tell me, oh, why aren't you married, or I'll actually lay out the reasons for you why I'm not pursuing marriage right now. And when you actually sit down with me and I'm like you actually realize that I'm actually giving you reasons that are actually realistic, because these are things that I've sat down and thought about. And then it's like also a reflection for them, because they realize like a lot of them did not get access to like the information that we as young women have today. A lot of women back then just got married blindly, 2021, fresh out of uni, and just, you know, what are the real benefits of marriage and monogamy for women especially? And this is like very important, because I don't want this episode to come off as anti-marriage, because the truth is marriage and monogamy can actually have real benefits for women, like emotional companionship, shared responsibility, longevity, stability. These are actual benefits that a woman can get from like marriage or like a relationship, but we're seeing that they're conditional to if the relationship has like, is there mutual respect, is there shared labor, and is growth supported, because this is actually like a big deal for women. Like, do you support my growth? Does me shining make you feel like I'm dimming your light? And when these conditions are not met, let's just say that marriage can become a burden. I want us to get to the career first woman like myself and rewriting the love story. What does that look like? Who is a career first woman? I consider myself a career first woman because at the age of 26, my priorities right now, while I do see myself maybe becoming a mom in the future, to possibly one, that's like my maximum child that I would have to have with a very sensible adult man, because for me having a child is very much attached to the unit of family, and that is very much attached to the connection and the relationship that I have with my partner. So I am one of those women who's actually comfortable not having children if I don't feel like I have a unit or a family unit that's safe, a safe space that I can bring them into. Then I'm comfortable not having children. But career first women are women who are, I want to say, more focused on their career as opposed to nurturing and motherhood and being a wife, which I know is what most women aspire to be. But there is women, I don't want to say they're boss babes, because the word boss babes is being thrown around like confetti. Like, that word is being misused so much. But I want to say that these are women that are ambitious, women that have a passion, women that are trying to create a legacy, women that are fighting for that. And it is actually possible to have both, you know. So saying that you're a career first woman does not mean that you're anti-love and marriage, but it just means that your timing is a bit different, that your priorities have been set in a way that you being at a certain space in your career or your passion, your businesses, your companies, growing that is important for you, because you need to be fulfilled before you can become a mother. Because becoming a mother, I don't want to say that it's something so draining, but it is something that is so, you give of yourself too much to others. It's a service. Being a mother, I see it as a service to community, and I see it as something that people should do when they have maybe gone somewhere with pursuing like their passions, so they don't have that unfulfilledness and they're able to pour into the next generation because they're coming from a filled cup again. So that's my explanation. So when we look at the career first woman, we're looking at someone who is building, someone who is growing, someone who's in their creative element. And when you're in that space, when it comes to love, you tend to become very, very selective, very, very picky. Because you see, love is no longer the center of your universe. You've decentered men and you've decentered love and relationships. Love is now something that can be assessed. And the moment that women put common sense and start to assess relationships, that scares men. Why? Men are scared not because we don't want love, because we still want it. They're scared that we don't need it to survive anymore. Love, capitalism, and consumerism. Let's tie that up. Before we even start, I do not think that capitalism destroyed love. On the other hand, I think it just optimized it. Love became something that you performed, something that you chased, and if you did not accomplish it, then failure. Okay? And if you want to get deeper into performance for love, I have a full episode with Shalom on that, on love performance and what that looks like for men and women. But love became a dance, a very strategic, very well choreographed dance, and you either know the steps or you don't. What if this is not a tragedy though? Hear me out. What if not ending up with someone is not loneliness, but it's alignment? I mean, what if some people are meant for community, creative legacy, to be the rich aunties, friendship-based love, seasonal partnerships? Like, I've become so open-minded to just like how I look at love and fulfillment. Maybe too open-minded for most Ugandans. But I just want to ask, what if performance is not the highest form of love? Like, the room filled with roses and balloons in the nice hotel room in Dubai with this nice sky view. What if that's not the highest form of love? And just to, break it up a bit, I love quotes, and so I'm gonna answer that question with a quote. So in As You Like It, Shakespeare says, love is merely a madness. And I don't know that I disagree. Because you see, love is not supposed to be this polished, perfect, shiny surface as it's been, put out to be. I don't think it's something that you can stage, and it's something that's irrational and it's internal. It's also deeply human, like as an emotion. So maybe the goal isn't ending up with someone. Hey, maybe the goal is ending up whole. Put that on a t-shirt. Which is not to say that I'm anti-love, asexual, or any of those people. But I think if you find love while you're whole, then that's beautiful. But I also need people to be okay with not finding it. Like, so are you going to kill yourself because you've not found your soulmate, or that idea that the Disney fairy tales gave you about love, and the Bridgerton books, and so much influence? And like, I feel like preaching love is also still important, because like, as much as I'm like a lover and pusher of self-love, I also realize that right now we're in a pandemic. Like, first of all, can we talk about the breakups in 2026? Like, it's been crazy, from Christy and Desmond, who are like a famous TikTok couple if you know them, to India and Dami. Heartbreaking, to like end of last year we had Whitney and Lokan. We've just been having so many breakups, especially like online on the internet, and it just makes you really like have all these questions like, was it ever real? Was all that staged and performed? Like, I know in terms of like Christy and Desmond, there's like a whole debate going on, because they're a couple that used to do prank comedy, and right now there's so much argument about how much of this feeling was staged, how much, when there's infidelity in the picture, it's just kind of like, are people still performing love even when things have gone wrong because they're still benefiting from it? I mean, when we look at internet couples, I work in social media, like relationships, it's like that's the most like some of the greenest content pasture that we have. So of course there's a lot of couples that continue to fake it because they're kind of like, we have a following, we have all these millions of people that are learning from us, and they believe that we're in love and they're family, and but I also don't know if I stand with misleading people, because it's like, for how long can you fake it for? I think sometimes you have to be quite transparent with your audience, and I know how hard that is. It's really, really hard, because I'm also in a space where I'm definitely struggling with that, the dance between what's structured and what's authentic, and what's for the views or for the quality of the content that you're putting out. So I know that can be a struggle, but the truth is that we are in a pandemic, because a lot of people now are just like, wait, so you mean I can have a career, look good, have a nice body, and give him kids and be with him for almost 10 years, and he will still cheat? Like, does love even exist? But yes, I definitely want to hear from you, because this is a conversation. I want to know, do you think in 2025 is love being commercialized, or is it just evolving? Okay, let me know. Is marriage also something that you believe is beneficial to the African woman today, or is it a scam like almost everything is these days? But also, is choosing yourself anti-love, or do you think that that's something that's going to be harmful for our society in the next few years? So let me know what you think in the comments, because I myself, I've just been in a space where I've been rethinking and relearning some of these things, the way that I've been conditioned growing up here, just the ideas that I have about love, my influences from the books to the music to the movies and the shows, and everything that I've been told about love, and then how that actually affects how I show up in society, what I'm looking for in love, what I'm looking for in a relationship or partnership. And yeah, just let's chat in the comments. Let's I feel like this is a conversation that's very necessary on Valentine's Day. Like, even as you've received your beautiful roses and your beautiful flowers, and I know they smell lovely, I just want you to not attach the feeling of love to the flowers that you've been given, but rather I want you to sit down and actually be able to put the value on love on other things, because this is just a concept that was brought up to make money. And if you're wise, you will start a flower shop this year. I actually legit would consider, if we had like 3 Valentine's days in a year, I would definitely be in the Valentine's Day business side of town. But yeah, I think I'll be exploring a lot more topics, just sitting down at home like this by myself with you guys and checking in, because I love learning, and I love like going deep into a topic. Today was like very chill. I feel like it was a bit shallow, like we're just testing the waters, but I also just want to know if there's actually like an audience. Like, so guys, let me know, are these like the kind of videos that you would enjoy? And if you would enjoy them, what other topics would you love me to talk about? Because girl, I can go down a deep hole, and that's what I want to do. I want to go down a deep hole. I want us to learn together. I want us to grow together and become better women, better people. People have been telling me to stop over. The truth is, I love women, and this podcast is for women, but like, we're open to men, but like, you have to know that this is a safe space for women. But like, anyway, that's where I'm at, and I think I want you guys to just ponder on some of the things that we've talked about today. I don't want it to be a fight in the comments. It's not a fight of like who believes in marriage and who doesn't, but it's just really a conversation on just like the state of affairs and where we are at. And I want us as Ugandan women to have a say and have a voice in the conversation. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to doing this consistent thing this year. Yeah, so please subscribe, leave a comment, like, and share this with a friend or two that you think would enjoy this conversation. But otherwise, I will see you next time. Love and light. Me and you. My God, am I gonna ever find a spot like? If this one doesn't work, like guys, that's it. I'm just going to give up. Tell me why it ain't nothing but anyway.